Welcome everybody on today's Sitdown episode. Now, once again, on the edge of my seat. Today in studio we have a very, very talented, humble young man by the name of Zaan Sonnekus. Welcome to the show, sir.
Bobby, thank you so much. It's a massive honor being here. It's awesome.
I'm so excited to meet you, and for the longest time I've been following your career and your music, and the person that I expected to walk in is a different person to who I actually met. So I'm a pretty good judge of character. I expected a big ego. You're very young, you're very successful, and you've achieved massive amounts of success at a tender age of 24. And you are a humble young man. You greet everybody, treat everybody with respect. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are.
We're all human.
So we're talking about 7-8 years ago. You're 17, you're still in school, I presume.
Yes.
At that age, are you allowed to have your hair that long in school?
I was in a all-boys school, so a very strict all-boys school.
Okay, so short hair.
Short
like
back
mine.
and sides,
Okay,
like yours,
good,
exactly like yours.
Good.
Now.
You're 17 years old, boarding school. What is important to you at that stage of your life? Are you playing rugby? Are you swimming? Are you doing a bit of boxing? What's important, and what are your priorities at 17?
When I was 17, friends, it was probably my biggest priority, which was actually ridiculous.
Cool friends.
Of course, but no, there was something deeper. I always knew what I needed to do. I always knew I was called to make music, because when I was a little boy, my parents told me I used to run through the house with a plastic guitar and tell them, one day I'm going to be a singer. I never knew that I said that, but my dad actually told me recently. And at 17, I thought I was going to be an engineer. So I studied so hard. I took all the most difficult subjects that I could get.
Okay.
Because I wanted to prove to my parents and to my friends that I'm going to be the best engineer. But I always knew there was something calling me to the music industry. But everyone said, dude, you're going to sing in bars for the rest of your life. Don't go into the music industry. But yeah, at 17 was actually the age. I was all over the place. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I studied really hard, doing my science and maths and everything. And I wish I put more time into music, because I never thought that I would fully pursue my music career. But at the end of 17, just before I turned 18, I guess that was the moment I realized, like, this is what I have to do. I'm called to make music. I'm called to touch hearts of people through my music. So yeah, I was, like I said, I was all over the place. I didn't know where I was heading, but I knew there was a road that I needed to follow. And yeah, sometimes you stumble off the road, sometimes you change vision. So at 17, it wasn't clear. It wasn't that clear that I had to make music. But I always knew that something called me, and sometimes you just need to follow your gut.
So how does that, if you don't mind diving into it, how does that transition take place? So you matriculate, you studied really hard, you're a very, very intelligent young man. So you get good grades in matric. Do you go and pursue that engineering degree or diploma, or do you decide, and at what point do you say, okay, music is what I'm going to do? How does that work?
So I was actually, it was first year, and my parents, I love music. I've always loved music, and my parents.
It shows in your delivery of the way that you do music.
Awesome,
yes.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what it's about. If you can feel it, then I'm doing my job right. We were actually having a braai. I was having a braai with my dad, and it was just before I started with the engineering course. And
so this is first year, or just before first year?
No,
just before you kick off?
Like January first year.
Okay, so now you're getting into it.
Yeah, exactly. I was supposed to already have my books probably by then, and but I was sitting with my father, and I presume I was a bit down or something. I'm not sure, but he asked me, Zaan, are you sure this is what you want to do? Do you want to study engineering? Is this what's going to make you happy? And I think, I can't remember, but I think I said no. I said, no, Dad, I can't see myself as an engineer for the rest of my life. and he said, you need to go do music, because he was at my first gig, and he attends most of our gigs, which he's the biggest fan. But he was actually the one that said, okay, I'm going to give you an ultimatum. You can either go study, and I'll pay for your studies, and I'm very fortunate to have a father
Absolutely,
that actually, was able to pay for my studies. But he asked me, would you rather go and study engineering or whatever it might be, or I will build you the foundation of a studio, just the 4 walls and the floor. That's all. But you guys furnish that studio. You buy your own gear. My brother is also a music producer. So, yeah, and I without hesitation, I said I think that's what I want to do. Thank you very much for the opportunity, but that's what I'm going to do. So my entire first year, all we did is my brother and I built studio panels, and we recorded people from our rooms to buy mics to put into the studio, to buy new amps and gear to put into the studio. So we were hustling, and it's actually our official studio launch next week. So it's been 6 years of gathering gear and building up and upgrading the gear.
Believe me, we know what a studio costs, and
no, it's ridiculous.
And this is actually, I'll tell you a side story. This is actually our second attempt at a studio. Our first attempt didn't go so well. We didn't wing it, but we didn't do enough research around what it actually means to have a studio that sounds good, that's well lit, that is that is in proportion to what you want to shoot.
Exactly.
It is extremely technical.
And that's the thing with this industry, is the pay isn't always that great, but the equipment is
it's very expensive.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very, very expensive. I mean, it can run up in the millions quickly. So okay, good. Your dad, I want to touch on him if you don't mind. What is his background? What does he do? Because he's got extremely high levels of EQ, and he really loves you and cares about you being happy. So his end goal is, for you to be happy. How walk me through his journey a little bit.
So my dad we come from Bloemfontein.
Okay.
So he's a regte Bloemfontein man. So he's not very arty, but he's very intelligent, and he's an artist in his own way. So he developed the software, but apart from that, he's got a new age heart. He doesn't know it, but he's got a very new age heart, and
it shows.
It definitely shows, and I can say it, especially after my mom passed, he changed completely. No, that's okay. It's actually tomorrow. It's 2 years, by the way.
Sorry.
But then he changed completely, and he turned into this soft, caring person. But he was always the strict Bloemfontein, Grey College Army man. yeah, he was a strict man. And I'm very thankful for that, because he taught me to become a real man, and disciplined me. And I mean, I still open the door for any girl.
Okay.
And
let's cut this piece out. So because we don't know. No, I'm joking. You're making us look bad here. Open the door for girls. My wife hopefully doesn't watch this part of the interview. So yeah, no, big up. Big up. Many of us don't, and I'm one of them. So I can. That's why I asked about your dad, because I can feel a very strong values and principle system, yet still the main goal is for you to be happy.
That's the most amazing thing, that he didn't tell. He did ask me to study something that I can, or take the subjects so I can study something and get a good career one day, or a great career, whatever. But when he saw me in that moment, probably at that bar, and he saw that I wasn't satisfied with the decision that I was making,
he knew in his heart.
He knew in his heart, whatever you do, I just want you to be happy. If you stay, you can stay with me for the rest of your life, as long as you're happy. Luckily, I don't do that anymore. But
awesome.
Yeah. So no, he's an incredible man, and probably my hero. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. What's his name?
JP.
Much love to you, Uncle JP.
Awesome.
Okay, so engineering is not for us. We've got the 4 walls. We've got the foundation. We're building a studio. How does that take you to getting a deal and performing for hundreds of thousands of people? What's that journey like? Do you perform at a bar and get picked up, like, this boy has got talent, come, let's talk to you? How do you get an opportunity?
A young musician actually asked me this question about a week ago, and I told him the only thing there is to do is to be omnipresent. You should be everywhere, at every gig. I played my first gig, was at a bar when I was 15, and they actually didn't want to let me in. And the only person in the audience was my father. So that's actually quite funny. But and since that, I mean, this year we've played probably 100 gigs. We play as 3-4 gigs a weekend at small pubs, at big festivals, wherever we can play. At launches, we support other acts. You engage with people. That's what it's about. You need to connect. You need to be part of this network, because this industry is very small. And it's easy to connect to everyone. It's not easy, but it's possible to connect to and have a relationship with everyone in this industry. So I think that's very important, to just gig and practice. People neglect practicing their music, and I'm one of those people actually. But just be present, be everywhere, and reach out to people. Don't be shy to reach out and ask the right questions to the right people, and go see the right people. If you want to get signed to a record deal, go to 10 record labels, independent record label, major record labels, whoever, and ask them find out what the differences are between all these record labels, and what would this one give me, what would this one give me, and compare them, and chat to the right people. Just get out there. People need to see your face everywhere, even if it's at small events, big events, whatever. Just get out there, and someone will see you, and they'll listen to your music and call you into the studio, or call you to the label, or whatever. Someone will see you. Yeah.
I'm getting 3 things. I'm getting effort. I'm getting massive amount of, even if I'm performing for one person, it's my dad, I'm going to perform, because what if someone else walks into the bar or into the area?
And that happens.
I'm getting massive amount of detail. So for me, detail, what you just said is you pay attention to detail. The industry is very big, but it's not very big. It's very small, because at multiple places you can get noticed by multiple people that will speak to each other. You're omnipresent.
Exactly.
I've seen him there. Shucks, okay, I also saw him there. So getting out there, being omnipresent.
Have you heard about this guy? Have you heard about this girl?
100%. And unless you are doing what you love constantly and putting in that fire, putting in that wood in the fire, you're going to hit a plateau, even at a young age. And you said it yourself. I haven't been practicing as much as I should, but the fact that you said it, I can give you feedback. You have, because only a professional will, and a person that's very good at what he does or she does, will doubt themselves.
That's true.
So a person that says, yeah, I've practiced enough, that guy or girl is getting a silver medal. The fact that I've done all these gigs, I'm doing 3 gigs a week, and I'm doing this, the third thing, the fourth thing, but I haven't been practicing enough. Just more power to you, man.
That's amazing.
That's the right attitude.
That's a lyric that you just said.
Okay, cool.
People, there's a lyric in there somewhere.
100%. But I honestly believe that, because the difference between confidence and arrogance is the result. And you're not arrogant, but yet you've got the result, because you're always in that state of, can I do more? Am I good enough? Did I practice enough? So stay hungry and stay humble. I love it. Love our interview so far.
Oh, thanks, Bobby.
I'm going to ask you a different question. So through your career, gigging everywhere, obviously you become good at what you do through making mistakes. You become great at what you do through making more mistakes. What are some of the stumbling blocks that you can share with us? Perhaps the audience can take that and apply it to their own industry or their own lives. What are some of the things that you feel like, damn it, I wish I didn't do that?
I wish I invested my money that I received from gigs. So usually how us musicians
It's a common
work.
problem. I knew there was a money. You know what? You're still very young, but yeah, please do share.
But still, I feel like you get paid for the gig, and now the band's like, yeah, we just got paid, and everyone runs to the bar. Look at him. That's like, yeah, no, that always happens. We spend our money too eagerly, and I wish I invested back into the band earlier for marketing, for better recordings, for a better mic or better guitar, whatever it might be. So because especially artists, we're not the best businessmen always. So just save your money and invest it to the right positions and put it in the right places. That's definitely.
Shooters for all the chicks is not the right position. Not at that stage.
They should buy you the shooters.
Okay, there we go.
Maybe.
Good.
It'll get there. It'll get there one day. And then I think in my industry, definitely. What's the word I'm looking for? Registering your music and licensing your music at the right places, because I've had instances where people have stolen some of my lyrics, and I can write new lyrics, that's fine, but it is, some people would literally stop making music if someone steals their song idea or whatever. They'll literally stop making music, and you can't just stop, but you have to save your music. And there's a organization called SAMRO where musicians go and license and save the music. There's a word that I'm looking for, but I can't find it now. That's very important, and I didn't do that, and I lost quite a few songs. And very important, when you make your songs, save the project on your computer, because I've also worked an entire day on a song and then I forgot to save, close the project, lose the whole song, or the computer crashes or whatever. That's happened multiple times. I would have had 2 albums out by now. Probably.
Got you. So save your money.
Yeah.
Be mindful of how you spend your money.
Definitely.
I always give young people advice. What is the outcome? Are you, especially someone pursuing a career, are you going to, let's take sales for example, because I can apply your advice on sales. You're going to get this big check. You did very well. You smashed the month. You overachieved on your target and you got a bonus. Okay, great. What are you going to do with the money? I say, no, I'm going to XYZ, and it's normally, early 20s. So XYZ means weekend away, or I'm going to take the chick, the other thing. I said, okay, cool. Let me see your phone. And then he whips out just the upgrade of the 3310. Barely has a color screen. Now we have to send emails and photos. Okay, what if you take your bonus and you buy yourself a better phone? Do you think the better phone can serve you and your quest to double up your sales?
For future purpose.
I never thought about it that way. So here's another thing. What if you get a phone on contract? You don't need to pay the X amount of money. Get it on contract. Save that money for a rainy day. But unfortunately, young people don't always see it that way.
Oh, well, we're getting there.
Yes. So very good advice.
That's the landmines you have to step on.
Yes. 100%. So next part of the interview, your dad is obviously the rock and the foundation. He laid, values and principles that you're going to take with you forever.
Definitely.
You're going to give your children those values and principles one day. It takes a big village to raise a wonderful young man like you. Who are the other 2 people that most influenced you, and how to end up where you are?
I would definitely say my mother. My mother was an artist. She was a painter and a writer. She wrote the most incredible poems, and yeah, I think I just sat with her, and just when I read through her poems, that's what is the English word? Typography, is it typography?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Her typography actually influenced me with rhythm and rhyme, and just the way she could play with words and the magic she bestowed on these words, it just influenced me. So I think all my rhythm and rhyme elements in my music definitely comes from her writing, and yeah, just the way, the artistic person she was. Her paintings are all over in the studio and in my room, in my house. So no, definitely from her, and the kindness, and just she was so pure and kind. And I think that definitely plays a big role in my music. She was incredible. And then my second person, there's so many people to look at. It's
a hard question.
It is a very hard question, because I can...
First person that comes to mind. I'm sure there's 300, not even 3. Yeah.
I think the first person that actually came to mind is probably my sister.
Okay.
I've got an older sister as well, so it's very... I'm a family man. So my sister, she's the determined one, and she's the...
What does she do?
She's a pastor, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, funny enough. And my brother-in-law as well.
Okay.
They're both pastors. He was the guitarist in the band, but it was quite hard for him to play in a band on Saturday where people throw you with shots and girls flash you, and then the next morning he's got to go and lead worship in the church. That's a bit contradictory.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah. So no, but he still helps in the studio. He's an incredible producer and incredible songwriter.
Okay.
So he would definitely help me with people that come into the studio for different projects or for my own project as well. But yeah, I think my sister, her prayers kept us alive in the last few years, definitely. And just how determined she is and how strong. It's probably the strongest person I know. I would not want to mess with her.
Beautiful.
Well, I'll wrestle her. I'll take her down to a wrestling match. But
beautiful. But I picked that up. Values and principles. The artistic, creative comes from mom, and then just the perseverance. I'm gonna go through no matter what. I've got family that's got my back. Yeah. Beautiful, man. That's why you're such a balanced young man.
That means
awesome.
A lot. Thanks.
And it's probably one of the only musicians that I've interviewed or met, you know, that has that rock and has that balance, because some of the guys come from very rough backgrounds.
I know. I'm very fortunate.
Dark places. So that's cool. On the days that you're not gigging, you're not recording, what do you like doing? What does a young guy as talented as you like doing? Are you watching Netflix? Are you being a slob? Or are you doing push-ups? You're very fit. Are you boxing? Or are you just writing constantly?
I wish I could be a full-time musician, but that's my business partner sitting there smiling. Okay. So we've got 3 companies with the music. So it's Zaan Sonnekus as the musician and the band. You have to see that as a business as well, because music is 80% business, 20% music. Well, I just want to sit and write songs all day and create songs. That's all I want to do, and I'll get there one day.
Good.
But for now, I need to focus on the business part. And then apart from that, we've got everything started with the studio, like I previously mentioned. My dad said, okay, cool, I can build you the foundation of the studio. And then we started an audio-visual company. So we bought 2 small speakers and rented them out to our friends at parties and small weddings, and upgraded the gear as well. And eventually we took out a loan, had to pay back the loan, so we knew there was a lot of gigs. So we set up sound. We do all kind of audio-visual stages. We've got an online shop. So it's 2 branches. It's Son Sound and Son Studios. So the studios is the studios that I was speaking about. That's production and rehearsal and recording studios. And the Son Sound is more an audio-visual. So we do sound rentals, and so it's sound, staging, lighting, all that kind of things. And then there's an online shop as well, also
awesome.
on there. So we work, 24, I wish I could be a full-time musician, but we run these businesses. That's what we do almost all the time. So we're constantly busy with building and progressing. And I mean, it's like any other business. And then at night, usually when everyone goes home, I go to the studio and then
you do what you're actually passionate about.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But you understand, and you've got the EQ, that unless you do the other part, this part dies. So you have to support and sustain yourself.
Luckily, everything is music related and music driven.
So it's intertwined.
Everything's intertwined.
Good.
Yeah.
We're going to show you guys some love. We're going to put a link at the bottom of this video.
Awesome.
And direct people that want to use your services.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, awesome. Definitely. We're the best in the business.
Of course you are. My man. Good. Good. So if you were to advise our viewers and your fans of landmines that you've stepped in previously, that the context of this question is, if we can take somebody's journey from 6 years down to 4 years, or from 10 years down to 8 years, what would be a location of a landmine? So I know we've touched on money, and we've touched on saving your work and licensing it. What else can you share with us that you feel, this is a problem, don't go there, and give us that GPS location so we can save it and we don't go and step on that landmine? Do you have something else for us?
Definitely don't share. The industry is it's a cutthroat industry. So I always believe that people can only pull you down when they're lower than you. So don't in this industry, it's easy to get stuck with the wrong crowd, and I mean, it's an industry full of dark things. So just follow the light. That's all I can say. Be a light and follow the light. So definitely don't get stuck in the wrong crowds, because yeah, you're not going to move forward. That's how it works. If you want to know where you're going to be in 5 years, show me your 5 best friends. That's where you're going to be in 5 years.
Awesome. I like that. When I spoke to Francois, and he was in our studio, he said to me, because we shared, I stopped drinking many years ago, and that's when I stopped drinking, my career started flying. You know, it everything improved.
Definitely.
And I'm not preaching stop drinking. What I'm saying is, the moment that you get focused on the right stuff, you know, where focus goes, energy flows. And you're right, your industry is very dark. And Francois opened up and he said, look, after gigs we used to have drinks, and like you said, the money goes into the, you made so much money the night, you spent it all with the band. Like, why did you get here? To have a jaw. You could have had a jaw at home. It was cheaper.
Had that conversation with him yesterday. Exactly that conversation.
With
Francois, yeah.
He's such a leader. He's a great guy.
He's something, I can't share it yet, but there's something on the way.
Nice, man. I'm very excited for you.
I'm literally still
very
shaking.
Excited
yeah.
for you. He's a very humble young guy like you. I think
amazing.
you guys will do something, hopefully do something together soon.
Yeah. I'll just keep an eye on the socials.
Awesome. Nice, man. I'm very excited for you. Best advice that you've ever received?
Be patient.
Be patient.
Be patient.
And best advice you can ever give?
Be patient.
Be patient. Like
it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Yeah. Be aggressively patient. I like that.
Be aggressively. And the best advice in my life at the moment is to practice constantly, because I find myself, we're always so busy with the studio and the audiovisual company that I neglect my music. And I always write. I constantly write. My music. My phone is full of notes. I've probably got thousands of notes and voice recordings. While we were just driving here, I was like, dude, just hold on for a second, and just recorded this melody line, because I'm gonna forget that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's to constantly work, and at this time in my life, to play to a metronome. I was actually on a podcast the other day, and they asked me sort of the same question. I said, I never practiced to a metronome, so I couldn't, for guitar specifically, I couldn't figure out, I didn't realize I wasn't playing faster. Now I can actually see that, okay, my speed is improving, my technique is improving, because perfect practice makes perfect. Not practice makes perfect, but the perfect practice makes perfect. So the way you practice and the way you exercise, that's gonna take you to an all nother level. Like you can't skip the basics.
No, man, I fully agree. I'm an advocate of training and practicing in whatever you do. With us, with sales, we start our morning strong. We have an hour of training where we do a lot of role play. So for example, they don't like me as a customer because I'll give you lots of crap, you know, in a role play situation. But if you can sell me, that means you know the actual customer will be it will be easy, it will be a breeze, because perfect practice makes perfect. Or if you come there and wing it, and you can be 8 hours a day on your guitar, but if you're not focused, you're not going to improve.
Yeah.
So I love the advice.
And if you do the wrong exercise, if you just do it, if you hold the guitar wrong for years, you're gonna play wrong. There is no wrong way, but you could have advanced so much faster
Than what you actually are.
Exactly.
This part of the interview, we're going to check your resiliency and your pain threshold. So I hope you're ready. Yeah, no, we can see if you're going to be able to handle the heat.
I don't eat hot food at all, actually, but I'm up for the challenge. Let's do it.
Let's do it.